Good morning. Brenden Rendo with the Homes in Orlando team at NextHome Neighborhood Realty. And today I have reporting live
What?
from. You're up in Michigan, right?
I am in Michigan today, so definitely wanted to hop on and make sure I was a part of this. But we are actually at a United Wholesale Mortgage event, so they're throwing a huge national event for all their broker partners and such, bringing in guest speakers, all this, and a lot of industry news.
Awesome. Well, all right. Well, we are. The Orlando Real Estate Buzz. We're your weekly podcast that brings you information about the current real estate market. And today we're going to concentrate on the Orlando housing reports for the week ending of May 7th. So we're going to take a look really at some April numbers and what we're seeing trend-wise.
Okay.
Before we get into that, we just want to do a quick little recap. How are the rates sitting?
It's actually really, really interesting to see what we saw over the last couple of days. We've seen kind of a little bit of a testing of a top, if that makes sense. Kind of like we've seen them hit kind of a little point, bop back down, hit a little point, bop back down. So I'm not sure. We need a couple more instances to see if we actually put a ceiling on this. But it was really cool to see kind of that occurrence start to formulate and actually see some positive trends with that. I think a lot of the industry news that we saw recently with some comments the Feds make, some comments, inflation numbers, has a massive downward tick of 0.2. but we saw an interesting response.
Yeah, it was interesting yesterday. Comes out, it's off its high of 8.5, down to 8.3. And the market rallied. I mean, rallied big time.
That's a small number in the grand scheme of things.
It is. And we saw the 10-year T drop back under 3%, which was beautiful.
Yes.
I called a couple of my clients yesterday and told them, hey, call your lenders, get them locked in.
Go ahead and lock it.
Yeah, lock it now because
we don't know if it's going to stay that way, but right now is a good time to do it.
Exactly. If Powell sneezes, boom, they can go right back up. You know.
I'm pretty sure Powell was reporting he's got a cold today, so watch out.
No. Then the other, so we had inflation drop a whole 0.2 to 8.3, and then we had a number of the Fed governors coming out and saying that they agree with a 0.5 increase for the next two meetings.
Yeah.
So that means more than likely towards the end of the year, we're going to see rates increase again. So,
it's definitely, I think we see it and we're expecting these numbers. We're expecting what they're saying. But, it's kind of that confirmation of, okay, they're actually saying it. I think, originally it was, all right, well, what do we do this? And they say, hey, we want to be here by the end of the year. But then they say, we only want to do these type of increases, like a quarter increase. Well, now they're admitting hey, they can't get to where they want if they only do a quarter increase. So now we're getting some of that full that full context of how do they plan on getting there.
Yeah, but what's funny is I pulled up Market Watch while we were getting ready this morning. What's one of the headlines? Will the Fed go too far?
Interesting.
So say we're going to tell you this, but just in case we're going to say, maybe we went too far. So we can pull back and cover our asses.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I personally think they may go a half. They're going to test it. And I think they're going to find the economy is going to slow down even more because we had one quarter of negative growth.
Yeah.
You get that.
What are they going to do if we get the second?
Exactly. Because that's, quote, officially a recession. So interesting. All right. So let's dive in to some of our Orlando numbers. What I did is I went back, pulled up a quick summary.
Okay.
So for April, we saw the median price of single-family homes in the Orlando area increase to $430,000.
Still slowly climbing.
Not like it has in the past. We have increased our inventory, so we've got roughly 2,200 homes. I know that still doesn't sound like a lot, which it's not, but it's a positive direction.
Yep, it's starting to it's trending toward that stabilization of what
It,
we ultimately
yes.
need.
Yeah. Average days on market still is tight, 21 days.
Okay.
But here's the interesting news that came out. The median price of condos decreased 6.3% to
Interesting.
260,000.
Interesting.
And we'll show you the graph on that one. Our inventory of condos hasn't taken as big a jump. We are sitting around 700 units.
Hmm.
And our average days on market, same as houses, 21 days.
Okay.
Okay. Now this is a little small, but the thing I looked at, and I look at a lot of times, which you and I talked about, is the original list to sales price.
Hmm.
This is 100.42%.
Hmm.
So what is that telling me? Is all these horror stories that people are out there, oh, I had to pay $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 over list price.
And this data is for the first week of May, right?
This is the first week of May.
Okay,
Yep.
so it's like that. It's starting to kind of get back to where list, there's not much there. Like, yeah,
There's
you're
not
paying a
much.
little bit,
Yeah.
but
You're there.
1.5% on a $400,000 home is $6,000,
$6,000.
not 50 grand.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm sure I know. Well, I know there was a couple cases of those where people are paying that 30,000, 40,000
Hmm.
over a home. But is it every case? From these numbers, no. Because then you
Yeah.
go across and you see original to list. Here under 250K, it's 98%. 250 to 300, it's 97. Then once
Hmm.
you get to the 300, that's where you kind of sit and up. You kind of sit right at that 100% mark.
Okay. So
Okay.
I kind of feel like some of this might be those homes that really aren't as super desirable, but the market's kind of brought that value up way, and people are trying to push those up to even higher numbers
Mm-hmm.
and not getting it. And then
Yep.
that sweet spot, that 300,000 to 500,000, is kind of like that's where your bread and butter of where most buyers are at right now.
Correct. Correct.
So that's where we're most competitive still.
Yep. So you see, you got 1.94%. So yeah, in a $500,000 house, you might be paying $10,000 over. You
Okay.
know, but not as exaggerated as some people are making it to be.
Not what you're seeing on social media a lot of what's being
Correct.
conveyed by um, you know different outlets and entities and individuals. So definitely very interesting talking point there.
Hmm. Now this is an interesting one because this is a
Hmm.
graph of our sales prices. Our blue line here is the median. Okay.
Okay.
The green is our average sales price. Our average
Okay.
sales price is actually $520,000.
Hmm.
Okay. Medium is 430.
Yep.
But have you noticed something since February?
Well, it's kind of it looks like since February we're not seeing it
We've
continue to go up.
Yeah,
So,
the average sales price has really kind of peaked out,
hmm.
which makes a lot of sense because if you look back here, we had good rates into January, right? But
Yep.
this is where we started shooting up.
Yeah, that February is where rates started being locked at a lot different price. You
Hmm.
know, people that closed at the end of February had those locks from January. So
Exactly.
this was the first, February. Now you get into March, April, May. These are the months where we're seeing the rate hikes, the increase in rates really impact the buyers.
Correct. We we should be having more buyers on the market, but
Hmm.
from the phone calls, the follow ups that I'm making, I'm getting a lot of I'm gonna hold. I'm gonna
Yeah.
hold. They're
Hmm.
nervous. They're
Yeah.
nervous because the rates have jumped so high. I mean,
Hmm.
when you look at it, your payment has increased roughly 50% since January with
Yeah.
the rate hike increases. That's a lot. That's a lot. Even for a married couple that both of them work,
Hmm.
you gotta look at your budgets in that
Yeah, you
situation.
really, and I think that's the key is, you see $100 increase, 150, $200 increase, really not too bad. But when you start seeing five, six, seven, $800 in increase in monthly payment,
Hmm.
you know, even if you qualify for that increase, that's a bigger number to chew off
Yeah,
because like that's like you start going, okay, that's not just a car payment, that's an expensive car payment.
that's an expense. Yeah, that's a really nice. That's my Aston Martin. No, my Aston Martin's a little bit more than
That's gonna be a little more.
that. And then looking at our weekly sales numbers, you see,
Yep.
again, going into February, which is a little bit slower, normally, but we've kind of picked up, but we've kind of really hit an even pace of about 560 homes per week. These two peaks, or these three peaks, what do you think those are? Our favorite time of the month.
Month end.
Month end, where everybody's trying to get their closings in. So that's all those peaks are is the last week of the month where everyone's trying to get everything scheduled in.
Yep.
Then we go look at this graph. This is our average days on market, and you can see, we've kind of come down a little bit. We're sitting at 21 days, which makes sense because we're in that time of year where we got the schools ending, families are starting to really look a lot more. So the houses are moving a little bit quicker, springtime, seasonal adjustment. But this is the one I like, total actives. We actually dropped to about 1,600 in the beginning of February. We really hit our bottom.
Yeah.
But we've actually come up, we're up 600 units from the end of February, which is positive. We need that number to keep growing.
We need it. Where do we need it at in that Central Florida, that Tri-County
Central Florida, I think you need it around the 4,000.
Okay,
mark.
so if we're at 2,200, we need to see almost double still.
We do.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what, I will take a 200 home increase in a week anytime whatsoever. We're going to go, let's skip over and we're going to go to the condos because this I found was interesting. And you can see here back in April 10th, the week of April 10th is where we really peaked on the prices of condos. And since then, our average price is down and our median price is down.
Yeah.
6.3% is a pretty good drop.
So basically in a month's time, we've seen a 6.3% drop in average sale price on condo.
Correct.
And I think there's so many things that play into that. Like I think, you start to see other inventory start to go up. You see prices, they're at a point now where they price themselves out of the people that would normally buy condos, right? The loan level price adjustments, condos have higher rates because they're higher risk. And when rates climb, those condo rates climb even faster.
Correct.
And then you got the condo approval process. A lot of people, I think it's extra work to qualify, to get qualified and approved for a condo. And I think we're running into that. Is it worth the extra work, the extra payment? Like, is it a good investment for me now?
Correct. Yeah, because we've seen condo associations, their fees have gone up a little bit. And like you said, you where you may be a 5% on a house, you may be 5.5% on a condo. Plus, I may have to bring more money to closing. So if I'm buying a $250,000 condo, I may have to because of the review process you go through. Maybe may not be able to put the 5% down. May only be able to put the 10%, or worst case scenario, maybe 20%. Have to come with 20% down. So it really makes it a different market than buying a single family house.
Yeah.
And I think they have. I think they've kind of pushed the condo prices to a point where it's like, I look at this payment and then I add in a $300 a month HOA. Maybe I will try and find like a small 2-bedroom, 2-bath home.
And you talk that $300,000. If you're at a $260,000 condo and you got a $300 HOA, that's basically an extra $60,000 in buying power. If you were to look at a single family home.
Yep.
Like, okay, well, I can get this 2-2 condo, or I can look at $320,000 for a single family.
Exactly.
Like, it's at a point now where it's not really justifying that difference.
Correct. And I think that's why you're seeing the prices come down a little bit, because you really got to keep it below where that break point is.
Yep.
And then, again, average our weekly sales, pretty much the same thing. We peak at the end of the month. So.
Yep.
And then the last one, average days on market, seeing the same thing. 21
trend.
days. Yep, same thing. 21 days on market. January was really our peak. 42 days, end of the month.
Mhm.
And then again, February, we hit our low.
Yep.
And we're slowly starting to climb up. Didn't take the spike like the single family homes did, but it is starting to climb up. And
Absolutely.
this has got to get up probably to around 1,000, 1,200 units. And it'll kind of level off the condo market.
Okay.
So,
But we're getting a lot closer on that side.
Yeah, we're a lot closer on that side.
So it looks like you see that the pricing leveling. We see volume. It looks like we're going to start to see that condo. So this kind of like a lead indicator maybe to the stabilization of where the marketplace is going to go over the next.
True, because just like commercial and condos kind of lead the single family homes.
Yep.
Single family homes kind of lag a little bit because again, it's a little bit different market, and as you mentioned, the process of getting a condo is a lot different than buying a single family home. And a lot of people with the condos, budget wise, are on a more of a set budget.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. So I know that I am live on site here. I don't want to cut you short. I know that we might have more, but I've got to hop off.
No. I appreciate making the time this morning. Thank you so much. I hope everyone enjoyed our numbers. Have a wonderful time. Have a great trip, and we'll see you when you get back, Joe. All right.
Sounds good.
And remember,
see you then, man.
don't get on the yellow bus.
No yellow bus. I got to be
No
on the
yellow
green
bus.
bus, apparently.
Yes.
Thanks
Take
so
care.
much,
Have a great
guys.
day,
Rock
man.
it out.
Bye-bye.